was the price of the bike?
$5,000 even.
Okay, is that right? Do you agree with that? That you agreed?
Yes, she called me and asked me if I could take $5,000
over the phone.
Yes.
And the bike was for sale for $5,000.
Yes. At
Initially, right? Initially.
And did you put a deposit on it?
Yes, $4,000.
That doesn't sound right to me. Why would you pay $4,000?
In the beginning of the transaction, she was just going to pay for the bike outright. And at that time, we were supposed to meet in Myrtle Beach to do the transaction.
Who came up with the $4,000?
She did.
What happened was I was offering to pay for the bike in full.
What's wrong with you? You know, you keep, give as little money as possible at the beginning.
Point taken. Okay. But it's a large transaction, and I felt comfortable with what I was doing with her. She gave me her business account. It wasn't her personal account. It wasn't an issue because I spoke with my girlfriend. She's down there. No issues. I wired her $4,000. I agreed to give her the difference when I saw the bike. She said that basically she would appreciate it if I saw the bike first. If I was uncomfortable with it at that time, riding on it, it was not comfortable for me to ride, then she would give me my entire deposit back at that point.
I had no time.
Right.
We never discussed that.
This is interesting because I've never bought a motorcycle and I don't know anything about it, but I would think you'd want to try it out before you bought it. I mean, had you tried out a similar bike?
Yes.
Oh, so you knew you had tried?
Yes.
Don't you think that's right, Pete? Wouldn't you? Take it for a ride?
I've never heard of buying a motorcycle that you haven't taken for a ride.
Right.
I've never heard of
Okay, so then you sent her $4,000. You received the $4,000. And then you're going to meet at Myrtle Beach and get the $1,000 that's owed on it.
I called Stacy, told her I was coming to Atlanta on the weekend of the 23rd. I want to say about 3 weeks before the 23rd, I said, is it possible that I can femme it out a little bit? I didn't want
Femme it out?
Femme the bike out. I didn't want it to look
make
masculine.
It more feminine?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that what it's called? Femming it out?
That's what she uses.
That's what the terminology I used. I didn't want it to look.
And what is it? You paint it pink?
Actually, that was one of the colors. Yes,
That's a feminine color. That's good. You know.
Yes. So the bike was supposed to be painted, and the bike was supposed to have detail added to the rim of the bike.
All right. And so you grant a price for this?
Yes.
What was the price?
It was $1,375 total.
And so what happened? You go to Atlanta?
I rent a Ford F-150 for $199. I fill the tank up and drive all the way to Atlanta, rent a room. I call her before I'm coming, telling her that I'm going to be there on Friday. The bike's going to be ready to ride on Friday. She says, yes. I get there. I look at the bike in the garage, and there's no seat. There are no fairings. The bike didn't look like it had even been touched.
Okay, so let me understand. You got $4,000 from her in April, right?
Right.
So you've been holding her $4,000 since April.
Correct.
Now it's the end of June, and her bike is not ready for her.
Right.
Did you tell her that that was enough time for you to do the work?
Absolutely not. I told her if the paint was there, she could take delivery of that bike that Friday that I talked to her.
We agreed. She said she could do it by June 23rd.
Did you take the bike that weekend?
No.
I
no.
understand. Okay, so the bike was not ready that
She
weekend.
didn't answer my phone
was ready
calls.
that night. It was ready that night.
The 23rd?
The reason she didn't get the bike is because she tried to pay for it with a post-dated check and make payments on it.
How post-dated was the check?
A week.
Did you get your money back?
No, I asked for the money back. At the very least, I asked for the $4,000 deposit plus my travel expenses. She said no and sends me this bogus sales policy that was not displayed.
You what? She doesn't get her $4,000
in between
back?
each word.
Our first initial conversation, I told her what the policy was, and that's not what happened. She asked me to give her the bike, but deduct the amount of money she had to pay to travel.
Any transaction to purchase a motorcycle that is not complete within 45 days will be void. That transaction on the vehicle will go back on the market for sale, and any deposit will be retained. What's happened to the bike?
The bike is still at my shop.
Have you put it on the market?
Yes, it is on the market.
And what price have you put it on the market for?
It's still on the market for the $55, even though I've paid to do the custom work.
It's going to go on the market for $55?
Yes, which is what it was originally on the market for.
Oh, so you are not charging for the custom. That's because you have her $4,000.
No, $4,000 was to pay for the bike. She never paid the extra for the custom.
The balance you have is $2,375 is what you owe on the bike. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you spent about $550?
Yes.
And you know what? I believe her. And you're either going to, I'm going to give you a choice here. You either reduce the value of the cost of the bike by $375, so she owes you $2,000, okay? Or I'm going to order you to pay her $4,000, which is her deposit. Which would you like?
I'd rather pay. I can't take the price off the bike because it's a consignment bike. So
you'd rather return her $4,000?
Yep.
Well, you know what? That's exactly what you're going to do. $4,000, which is what she is owed as a deposit, and you're going to pay $550 for her expenses the day she showed up and couldn't pick up the bike. So that is $4,550 judgment for the plaintiff.